Perfect.
I just need a semi-topless woman to walk by.
It's songs in the key of funny, mixing music and comedy. It's like everything you could wish for. It's like an opera singer covered in bees. It's like hearing your favorite song while you eat your favorite cheese. It's funny songs and funny stories. It's songs in the key of funny. Funny songs and the stories behind them.
It sure is. Welcome back to Songs in the Key of Funny. Again.
Bring it back.
Song's so great, we played it twice. I'm Kristin Key. We're bringing you up this podcast all the way from Burbank, California. A hot, sticky mess today. And we record every week live from Flappers Comedy Club, open 7 days a week, bringing you non-stop comedy 24 hours a day. Truth. The hottest comedy in Los Angeles. Non-performers just performing until they drop. So thank you, Flappers Comedy Club, for letting us have our podcast here. Joining me as my co-host, as most days, the Gabrielle to my Xena, the Willow to my Buffy, the Scully to my Mulder, the Screech to my Zach Morris. I don't know. Yeah, Shaun Fisher.
Hello. Thank you. Pleasure to be back.
And his amazing mouth drums. And our guest today, so happy to have from E and from all around and with her amazing guitar, it is Raquel Woodruff.
Thank you. Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're classing the joint up. So happy to have you here. Well, those of you that listen, are reoccurring listeners, all 7 of you, know that each week... Hi, Uncle Randy. We like to pay tribute and honor our musical comedians working today, our up-and-coming, and our current musical comedians. We also like to tip our hats and pay homage to musical comedians of the past by having a classic song of the week. This week's classic song of the week is by The Tubes. The Tubes. Do I say this word weird? Tubes. Because we have a female guest on the show, and because it's the month of October, which is the month of Halloween, I thought we should do something spooky. Spooky
tube song.
Spooky tune is by The Tubes. It's called Attack of the 50-Foot Woman by The Tubes. And, of course, we're going to have to play it a little bit differently and not play a lot of it for copyright reasons. So this is the way I'm going to play it. Attack of the 50-foot woman. Our love was at an end. All she did to get her kicks was step on all the men. I had to run to save my skin. Ooh, 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 ooh. She scooped me up, I could not win. Ooh, 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 ooh. My God, I screamed to my distress. I got a 50-foot woman in a 5-foot dress. 50-foot woman. Attack of a 50-foot woman. Attack of a 50-foot woman. And that's this week's. Thank you. Classic song of the week. 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 I think that went well.
I think so too. That was fun.
Loved it.
So that being said, that was a classic song of the week. We've introduced us. We've introduced you. And now back to our guest. And the reason that we're here, the reason that we showed up and parked our cars and got hot in Burbank, it's Raquel Woodruff.
Thank you.
Honor us. Play us in. I mean,
all right, let's do it.
I wish we could wheel out a house band for you to play with, but we'll just...
No worries. This song is called I Might Die Today, and it was inspired on my drive over here. So. I might die today, driving in, L.A. I might die today, driving in, L.A. Every time I make a left, I pray, and I'm an atheist. Every time I take 10, I hate the USA, and I'm a patriot. And every time I go out, cause I plan for weeks to drive 3 whole weekend. And every time I hold out, cause covering 5 miles an hour makes me violent. Park cars so far out on the street, no visibility, so the nose of my car sticks so far out in the middle of the street just to see something. And people out here don't seem to know what turn signals are. I'll tell you, it's literally the easiest form of communication that has ever been invented. So So next time you cut someone off on the freeway, use those turn signals, bitch. I might die today. Driving in, driving in, driving in. LA. I might die today. Driving in, driving in, driving in. LA. Every time I park, I have to read an essay on if I can park. Every time I start to think it's gonna be a good day, the 101 breaks my heart. And every time I think of the infrastructure, I'm not sure what those guys were thinking. And dear Veronica, moved to Santa Monica, now I'll never see you again. Potholes and assholes in the street, worse than the DMV. So I get the road rage and then I'm okay, as long as I chase the guy and flip him off. And you wonder why my blood pressure's high. LA drivers love to drive in the middle of two lanes and cannot drive in the rain. And so every time I ride, I think I might die today. Driving in, driving in, driving in. LA. I might die today. Driving in, driving in, driving in. LA. This shouldn't be hard. This shouldn't be hard. No, life's too short to die 'cause of some moron. Come on, the light's red. I might die today. Driving in, driving in, driving in. I might die today. Driving in, driving in, driving in. Driving in LA. Thank you.
So true, so accurate, and welcome on the show. Oh my
Thank you.
God. How long have you lived in LA?
2 years, actually. Well, a little over 2 years, since August.
So enough time to
So,
build
yeah.
up a little angst.
Enough time, yeah. I think enough time to have an opinion about it.
Definitely.
For sure.
And where did you come from?
Where did I
Where
come
did you
from?
Where did you call home?
From where do you hail?
How do you say home?
So this like, no, I was gonna actually make a joke about like organisms, but not worth it. Anyway, I'm from Pennsylvania. So,
Okay.
I'm from the East Coast. Did we get cut out or?
I think my
we're
mic's
good.
done.
Might have
Make it
lost
stop.
the
We're good?
microphone.
Okay.
It's just me. It's okay.
We're good.
I'm from Pennsylvania, like an hour outside of Philly, and then I went to school in New York though, and so I
Wait,
moved here
like
from New York.
an hour outside of Philly is Amish country.
Well, the other way. So
Okay,
I'm like
okay.
northeast. yeah.
Towards the industrial side.
But it is
Okay.
nuts because like Pennsylvania is so wide that it's like the
Yeah.
western part of it is just like totally like country, like
Beautiful.
You know, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Let's just say I'm glad I grew up where I grew up.
Yeah.
Actually, fun fact, because I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and CNN did like a whole
Sounds like a tri-state fair name.
Bucks County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. There's definitely a lot of fairs, but no, it's actually the most evenly divided between blue collar, white collar, and conservative and liberal
Oh, wow.
in the country. And so wherever we've gone, except for the last election, because we went blue. Or actually, but I was gonna say
Hey.
we predicted like every election, like whatever Bucks County itself as a county
Oh.
votes, it goes red or blue. It is
Just like
been
the old
accurate to
gypsy
the
said it
president.
was going to be.
But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Bucks County did go red and Trump did win. So I'm not sure. But I know Pennsylvania went blue, but whatever.
Right. No, but you're saying like whatever that county votes for, that also tends to be the person who ends up winning the presidency.
Yeah. That's pretty.
I got
crazy.
you. I followed along.
But
Wow.
yeah. So it's kind of nuts. So I grew up in like it's still
What if they can
northeast
predict
and,
other
like enough,
things
but
too?
I feel like I was like pretty like exposed to both sides of everything. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like a one versus the other type thing. Pretty even. Yeah.
Because I always assume that if there's like that much like equal representation, that it's just going to be anarchy. Like there's no like
Right.
hand holding. Like we all disagree, but we can all get along.
Yeah.
It's just like sides of the street are just like red and blue.
Yeah. No, I mean, and honestly, like, because it's such a stark difference, like, going to New York and then,
Right.
and but it's, yeah, because, like, a lot of my family is, like, very conservative, but my dad is very liberal, and so I was exposed to kind of it all, but going to New York, is just, like, awesome.
Right.
And then, like, coming to LA, I was like, cool, like more awesome. There's weed.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's like New York, but warmer with
No,
weed.
I have a job, guys, so we can't.
It's just an observation.
Yeah,
it's
just
not
an
an admission
There's
of anything.
weed that other people are smoking.
I
It's
forget
just what-
they
it
legalize
makes-
weed, but it's not legal to like have it at work.
January
yeah,
2018.
no. Yeah, and like some people like still test. You know,
It's
you can't-
not?
like
Roxy, what's that smell?
Oh shoot!
Roxy.
Smoking out, kids.
She's smoking right now.
out.
Right? Just kidding.
Roxy.
Just cough.
I was about to ask you about pot, and then you were like, "But I have a job."
I don't. What do you want to know?
I know.
I haven't smoked in a long time.
It's good
did
now.
it get better?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Just because it's a science now, I think there's, actually education and stuff behind
It's
it.
a podcast, so you can just nod. But
Yep.
she's nodding no, if it helps.
Nodding,
Employer.
nah.
She's saying she hates it bad. Drugs are bad, children.
But
don't.
I would say keeping it not about us specifically, but moving it on to like other people that exist out here. I think
Right.
yeah, there is a better level of people being like calm and whatever you're about, live your life. And if that could be
Yeah.
attributed to weed, that would be an interesting statistic.
Totally. I mean, definitely the
observe.
laid back vibe is certainly like the major difference between
Yeah.
that and New York, because like it's just intense.
New York is intense. Here's my issue with weed, okay? Okay, because I went and got my weed card a few years ago.
Again, just speaking sort of hypothetically.
No, this is me.
This is you.
In the
Okay.
story. In the story, it's me for real, not for
Yes.
play. I went to go get weed. I went to the doctor, the weed doctor.
Yes.
Dr. Sunshine or whatever. And I
Oh,
wanted weed
I don't know if
because
you
I
went to a
have
good person.
migraines.
You went to the best person, Dr. Sunshine. Sign me up.
His office was in a van. No. So I go to this place and I said I have migraines, and they were like, it doesn't matter, just sign this. I was like, no, I really wanted some kind of medical weed treatment for migraines, and they
Okay.
all acted like I was like, you don't have to keep telling us this. We're gonna give you weed. I'm like, no, I need to know what kind. And they're like, we're gonna sign your paper. Like, you don't have to keep telling us what you have. I'm like, no, I need to know, like, should I get sativa? Should I get indica? Should I get edibles? They're like, we're going to
Like,
sign
we
your
are
form.
not
Yeah, we're gonna
doctors.
give-
Yeah.
We are
They
not.
like asked the dispensary, which was the dumbest thing ever, because I went to the dispensary. I'm like, hi, I get migraines. They're like, oh, yeah, totally. I was like, what? I want to function but not have headaches. You're like, this, you'll sleep till 2. I'm like, I don't want
That's
that.
not function.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to be awake and like doing things. You're like, you lost me. So that's my issue with weed.
Well, you could. It's sativa first of all,
Sativa.
and second of all, yeah, just ask a friend. But we can talk about this after the.
It's that AM weed.
I'll give you some suggestions. No. I'm just-
From what I've read.
Sativa always just meant paranoid as bananas burgers to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel
then
like
you might need
indica is a more paranoia-inducing.
It could be. That's
one.
been my experience as well. But
I need all of our listeners to participate in some comments here. And is indica or sativa the paranoia burgers weed?
well, indica is like the one that just like couch locks you. That's the
Yeah.
one
That's
that is
indica.
like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah, that's
God,
good.
I'm
That's the
Oh,
stuff
stuck.
you like that?
Well, because I could think straight. I just couldn't move.
Sativa for me does make my brain like fire on all cylinders.
Too much.
Eh,
I don't need to have all the thoughts.
hey, you know what?
You should vape. Do you ever vape instead of just
No,
smoke?
not anymore.
'Cause
Now I
feel
don't
like
do
it's
anything.
a different. I feel like from what I've heard, it's a different kind of high. You know, it's a lot less intense, and it's more about functionality.
There's also blend strains now that have a little bit of sativa and a little bit of indica. So if you can't do too much of either one at 100%, you can find that nice 50-50 mix.
Isn't vaping like the most purified of all the ways?
Depends if it uses butane or not, because there's
Oh
actually.
wow! I didn't.
Do you
I
sell meth on when you're not a co-host of the show?
My wife works in a dispensary. I know all this information.
I also love how I'm like telling myself, I'm like, I better be careful. Like, I have a job, and then the first thing I like bring up is weed. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Now we have to ask, since we've already
What's
opened
wrong
this
with me? Yeah, I already
weed
opened it.
box that Pandora gave us, what do you do for a job?
So I'm an associate producer at E, and
Everybody there smokes weed.
yeah,
There's 2 E's in weed.
yeah, that's true. It's double.
There is 2 E's in weed.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Oh my god.
Solid
But,
observation.
we just started this new talk show called DailyPop. It's like live 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's 2 hours. It's like every day live content. And so I just did that this morning. I work at 4:30 a.m. every day.
Oh my God.
It's nuts. Yeah. And so it's crazy because it's like I do music on the side right now. And obviously like I'm trying to, eventually like I'd like to make that the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But right now it's like I'm doing like I'll do a gig or something or open mics at night, and there's days where like I don't even go on until after midnight, and it's like then I work or like I'm an actor as well, so if I'm in a film or something, there was a day where I like did not go to bed. Like I was filmed until like 3:30 in the morning and then went to work.
Nope.
It's pretty gnarly.
Nope.
Like it's a crazy.
But you look like
grind.
you're like 20 and a half. So it's like I think your body can bounce back real well, you know?
Yeah. Well, honestly, yeah. Like
You can't be over 24. I think 22.
I'm 25.
Really?
Yeah.
You do
Wow,
great.
like
You do really good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You do
People
good.
usually think I'm like older. That I'm like you. Well, I guess just.
I thought
because
24. I was
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
I was skew low, so it's not to.
I just turned
insult
25,
people.
so I'm
yeah, okay. I was
basically
thinking 24.
I
But
don't
I was
like
thinking
guessing.
if I was in casting, I would go probably 23. She could pass.
Oh,
You could
cool.
pass for like 18.
Love it. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Give
Yeah.
me some high school roles.
Start using
Love
those
that.
bracket ages. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
cast
an
in an 18 to 24.
Oh, I'm certainly like in the 13 to 80 category.
13. You need a grandmother and then the grandchild of that
versatile, though.
grandmother.
Yeah, how well can our viewers
Everyone
see?
wants-
You know, are we in black and white? Or is this a talkie?
This
Yeah,
is-
I'm in.
It's a talkie musical podcast. It's all just like
The
black
viewers
and white.
are all stoned.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of
no.
our viewers are stoned.
Yeah. No, but
she
it's,
looks 14,
Dude.
and I'm hungry.
Yeah. No, it's pretty nuts though. Like I'm someone though that like I'm such a night owl person naturally. So but what's funny is like I went to school for journalism and I like have been having a like it's I've never had a job where it was later than 6 a.m. Like
Right.
everything is the news, right? So it's like I used to work at MSNBC in New York and then I interned there and then I interned like at ABC. So it's like every job was like 6 a.m. because it was like news.
Right.
So I've just been like for years working this shift and I've never gotten used to it. And even like my normal job, I worked at Starbucks 5 a.m. Like literally, I've never had a job where I'm like
chase
normal
daylight.
hours. I know, and it's funny because I hate getting up so early. Like I love to have like a later job. So
But
it's
you
just,
need
it's
those
been a weird
nights.
adapt. And honestly, like that's the thing. Like so, there's days where if I have a lot going on that day, I'm exhausted. The next day, I'll come home after work and I'll just sleep, and then I wake up at like 8 p.m. and I'm like, God.
No.
I have to go to sleep now again. Like I just woke up and I've worked tomorrow at 4:30, so now I have to go to sleep. So like it's depressing sometimes, but other times it's it's totally worth it. But yeah, it definitely catches up to you.
What are night jobs that she could have that pays? Like, what would we?
Well, because the thing is, if you have too many night jobs, then it conflicts being able to do sets.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you need to keep your nights
you
open.
can't strip because you need to be available to do your music.
And you can't do afternoon stripping either, because that's just
Yeah.
not where the money is.
Yeah, but if
Oh,
I
like
did,
a lunch
well, I don't know how much
buffet?
does it
Like a
how much
B
does
team
a
Tuesday
stripper make
afternoon.
one night. Like I could do part time.
Right.
Part-time stripper, but then you don't get benefits.
Right.
The
Yeah.
part-
Yeah, no,
Part-time
and that's the
stripper
thing.
don't
The
get the
benefits are
benefits.
amazing.
The stripper benefits is really where. That's where
Do
you.
you know how many pole injuries there are per year?
Can you imagine though if we lived in a world where they could get benefit? Like, what if everything had?
Right, like medical.
Except I'm
for
already
all like
against.
pole
I mean,
bruises.
yeah, I'm already against that anyway. Like, I think that I don't think healthcare should be tied to a job anyway. So I feel like
Makes
everyone should
sense.
just be able to.
Word.
I agree with
I
that.
would like to.
Universal
I have.
healthcare.
Yeah.
Because then you just end up getting a job where you're like, I'll do this.
Yeah, I think everyone
Thank
should.
you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But anyway, yeah.
I agree.
Do you ever listen? I mean, I don't know why. We used to give us health care. I was like, I wonder who she's talking to. Because sometimes I'll be on the phone and I'll hear like a click, and I'll like on the phone with my wife. I'm like, do you think we're getting tapped right now? Because I know that they tap random phone calls.
Oh my god.
And so sometimes we'll be like, do you think we're being tapped? And she'll be like, oh, maybe, but we're not talking about anything. I'm like, oh, hang on. I just need this to be said. I really don't care for our president. Like, and I don't ever say
There's
anything.
somebody just like,
I got to take that down, Got to
We
make sure
gotta-
and make a note of it.
why do
Someone
we
said
always
president.
click in if we're trying to spy on them?
Oh my gosh. Right.
Need to avoid the, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love the fact of like like a secret organization. They're like, look, we're gonna spy on you, but like we're gonna give you a little bit of a heads up. It's like if you hear this weird crack sound, click pop sound, it could be
Right.
us.
Or it's like they're spying because
Just
they
to
want
keep-
you to say something good about like,
Ooh,
we
right.
need you to say so it's like they're like giving you a heads up. They're like,
Click.
he's listening.
Click,
so-
click.
Oh, someone has.
Ooh.
That means there's a comment. I didn't mean to get that excited.
That's our comment
We've only
bell.
heard that noise like 6 times in the history of the show. This is very exciting.
Or it means someone's spying.
oh,
Oh.
And they want. Well, they're
Right.
doing a great job at
dang it,
it.
Roxy.
I honestly
You
wouldn't
got
be
me.
surprised if Trump was listening to this right now, being like, "Fuck these guys." Let me tweet about this.
I love music.
Can
I
you
thought I
imagine?
loved music before. Worst
God, I love
music.
musical comedy. This isn't musical comedy. This is.
I was a fan of Raquel's early work.
It's okay. That's a fan I don't need to have.
I love E.
I don't care much for the president.
He does love you, I'm sure.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how are you finding that sort of? It's interesting to have that to find you at that sort of transition process where it's like I have my survival job that I'm also interested in, but you just have that pang, that sort of knowing inside that you're like, I kind of want to be doing this stuff too.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I haven't figured it out. I definitely don't have the answer because for me, I did a summer in New York where I was like hostessing and waitressing, and it was like the worst. And it was just because I'm someone that like I need to be like mentally stimulated in some way at all times. Like I also believe that like you need to find a way to be completely happy in the now, because you're just like, if you always live with this, and I think every performer who aspires to really like make it or whatever, you know, you always have that in your mind. It's like once I make it, like I'll be happy.
Right.
Like, once that, and I was like, no, it'd probably get worse actually. Like
absolutely.
Yeah, like fame does not make things better. Like, you know, it doesn't make. And so it's funny. It's like I definitely struggle with that because part of me is like, well, what makes me happy now is like performing. So who cares? Like, but then the money thing, and then I'm like, well, that would mean getting a job, and then it would mean waitressing, and that's not happy.
That's
so
cyclical.
It's like, so for me right now, it's like this is honestly like the best case scenario I can think of right now, because it's like I do have a job that's mentally stimulating. You know, like I'm producing and I'm writing, and I have a lot of like. I'm learning so much about like the technical world of production. I'm in the control room every day. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can't really get elsewhere.
Are we being spied on again, or is this another tease?
No, that really is a suggestion.
Okay.
Oh,
it's all about all the late night talk you guys are having. They want you to improv a song about owls.
Owls.
Owls? Cool. I can do that for sure.
All right.
Late night bird.
The late night owl is a late night bird.
okay.
Who's going first? Me first?
Do blues?
Sure.
No. Oh, you gotta you.
Yo, saying all the things, using letters, using vowels. And when I'm up at night, I be seeing all the owls, looking at them every day out my window with my eyes on. The only thing I know about an owl is it is a bird that is so wise. Yeah, waking up in the morning needing some caffeine. An owl was a mythical animal represented by the Greek goddess Athena. That's a fact. That's an owl fact. That's an owl fact. That's an owl fact.
Go to bed about 9 p.m. Cause that's what time I get ready to go to bed. I'll get some rhymes later. Wake up about 7 a.m. 7 a.m. That night, do it all over again. Staying up may be right for you, but you know who likes to stay up? Whoo, that's
owls. Owls are a really, really cute bird. And here is something that I heard.
I heard an owl needs to get some sleep. Oh, well, it looks that the owl could probably use some weed.
Give an owl some weed instead. Watch them spin around their 360-degree head. Owls are weird. Owls are weird. And they also know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pie.
fine. Pulled that one out at the end.
Wow, and tambourines are actually like really hard.
I had no rhythm. I was like, wow, it's just shaking all the time. I don't know how you do this.
I felt like that with the egg during your song. I was like, I got this. I feel like I have Parkinson's over here.
Newfound respect for tambourine players.
I need to make fun of people with Parkinson's.
Is there like
now.
is there
Really
like a
sorry
blues
about that.
traveler? Like, you know how that guy is like known for doing harmonicas? Is there like a person who's just strapped with like 30 different tambourines and they're just like
Tambourine Man solo.
right? He's just like smacking it against like every part of his body.
Do you know who's insanely good on the tambourine?
Who?
Stevie Nicks.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen her live a couple times, and I mean, she hits it with her butt, and
Wow.
she
Yeah,
really
like,
gets
there's a
into
rhythm.
it. Because I think if you're playing the tambourine, you have to have in your brain the thought that if you weren't playing the tambourine, the song would just be shitburger.
Yeah, you're right. Like that's so true. And honest, it's real, and it's also like you have to be so like you can't have residual noise
flick of the
where
wrist.
it's like they're just like shaking all the time. Like, you definitely need to like be smacking it, so it's like a definitive.
You can't make them stop.
Yeah, like,
okay,
well, you can't.
They
Yeah.
have to.
I love her like, how's it impossible?
That one can't.
What about this one? No, it doesn't
It has
end.
that kinda
it
like
doesn't end. It's a trap. This one's a trap. But I'm sure Stevie Nicks has like a fancy tambourine.
Oh,
you know?
for sure. She has the nicest.
She's got a fancy.
There's that's what I'm saying. There's got to be one guy who's like, oh, you're gonna want the Erlenmeyer model. Like it's just got a nice kickback to it. It silences as soon as you hit
It's
it.
a grand tam. It's a grand tam.
A grand tam.
Huge.
It's
Lots
just like
of
a.
tams. It's a tam tam. If for all of you listening at home, and if you're just joining us, this is Songs in the Key of Funny. I'm Kristin Key. With me, as always, my co-host Shaun Fisher, and our guest today is Raquel Woodruff. And today, our wonderful producer Babsy Poo, also known as Roxy the Fox, got us a box of musical instruments for the show to have for keepsies. Not just for loansies, but for keepsies.
For keepsies.
I know. And there's so many wonderful things that we're a little overwhelmed. We haven't figured out how to use all of them yet.
I know. I've just been treating it as like a set decoration.
I feel like we need to play a song right now that might be simple enough to play. Let's all pick up an instrument.
Okay.
Choose from your box, and we're gonna play a kid's song. That's super easy.
A kid's song?
Yeah.
That we all know, or like.
If you're happy and you know it, play a thing.
Copyrights.
Okay.
Copyrights.
Sorry,
Xylophone needs
we'll
to be
change the
playing.
words. If you're on the show and holding an instrument, so you have to change the lyrics. Yeah. Okay. So we have to. Here we go. Why'd you choose your instrument, Shaun? Why'd you choose your instrument? Can you play your instrument, Shaun? Can you play it now? This is going really well. You were flat. Why'd you choose your instrument, Raquel? Why'd you choose your instrument? Can you play your instrument, Raquel? Can you play it now?
A little flat, a little flat, a little flat.
I didn't get the timbre
solo.
right.
My turn. Why do you choose your instrument, Kristin?
A little too kazoozy.
It was a little raspy. I'm about to add a xylophone to my like repertoire. I'm gonna put this on a resume.
I think you should.
Children's
Easy
xylophone.
for me.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah,
It's
I
going to
just
become a regular part of the show now.
man, I just hope like whenever I have an instrument like this, I'm like I just hope whatever I hit sounds good because I cannot read music or any music theory at all.
I don't think we've had any guests on the
Yeah.
show. Oh, we've had a couple guests that can read music that went
Yeah.
to school for it. The majority of our guests, they were just like, I just played it till it sounded good.
Yeah,
And
no.
then I couldn't sing to it, so I put this clamp on it. Because,
No,
like,
seriously. I mean, like, it's funny because I did a lot of chorus stuff and I was in a lot of choirs in middle school and high school. So I just have forgot. It's been like so many years because I didn't do it
Right.
at all in college, like in terms of like studying music. So I just completely forgot everything. So I have like a basic knowledge and like I get like the letters.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
like,
Face.
but honestly, like but guitar though,
Good
writing
boy
music, like I
eats
literally
cheese.
learned like the main like maybe
Right.
like 7 to 9 chords, and then it was just like put a capo on and like here's like like this is higher. Okay, cool. And then I just honestly most of my songs are like alternating between like 6 chords, like.
But they sound so good. I like that
Oh,
you
thank
have
you.
you have that earthy. Is that a word for wine or weed?
It's
But
both.
it applies to you as well. You have that like an
You have a
earthy.
very weed tone too.
Weed
Owls,
tone, I love it.
owls too.
Owls are earthy as well. They're of the earth. She is. Of
I have an
the earth.
owl-like voice.
You have an owl.
Well, kind of like feathery and soft and like a Vanessa Carlton, Michelle Branch kind of
Oh,
vibe, I
interesting.
would
Yeah,
say.
I would say that if
Okay.
I knew who those people were, I would totally compare you to them. No, I
That
do.
singer-songwriter, like
Yeah.
90s, 2000s kind of
Can
like.
you say that someone sounds like the girl next door? Because you sound
Sure.
like the girl next door.
Girl next door.
Yeah.
Oh.
Her
Like your
walls are
friend-
paper thin. The girl next door sounds
It's
just like you.
Oh, that's
She's
hilarious.
really good at singing though, but not near as good at the guitar.
She's
No.
she's like a female Stephen Lynch, you know, because Stephen
Oh.
Lynch
Oh.
sings really
Okay.
in that you play the
nice,
guitar and make up
but
funny
then it's
songs.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it was funny because, but I like that you said Stephen Lynch because what's funny about him is like I always felt. So funny story is that when I started writing music, I wasn't comedy. It was like I was writing serious songs and stuff like that.
Can you play us like just a little of a serious song? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
sure.
Nobody ever does.
Yeah, I would love to. But just so basically though, like with the comedy songs, like my whole thing is I always associate musical comedy with not necessarily something that's like beautiful music. It's always gonna be something that's funny, right? But like
Right.
not necessarily like you would listen to it musically
the
without the
radio.
lyrics. Like if you were like on like and so I was like I want it to be melodically like beautiful itself without the lyrics.
Right.
And so it's just hard to kind of strike that.
Good
but
point.
let me see. Okay, well this is kind of so I write like weird songs. So
You don't have to play the whole thing if you don't want to, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
no,
comedy show. Just the most
no, this is pretty
feelsy
dark.
part
okay,
of it.
Okay, here
Yeah.
I'll just no. This is the first verse, right?
Okay.
Okay, so it's just like.
Evolution designed the human brain not to understand itself, but to survive. Oh, I'm out of my mind. Maybe I'll finally reconcile my disdain for humankind and my need for validation to fill the ego up inside.
So I'll just go to the chorus. It's like
Brain, lying to yourself. Think of somebody else. Think of somebody else. Keep saying, buy into your illusions. Being you're only human, and you know that you are, 'cause you feel when you don't want to.
yeah, so pretty
Hell
I
yeah.
thought it needed castanets. When things get dark,
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
Yeah.
You broke my heart now.
Yeah, I should. And it's fun. Like, and the first song I ever wrote was called "Figure Me Out," and it was just this other song about like, honestly, because it's funny. The evolution of how I started writing was. Exactly. That's kind of what I was going through inside. No, but like I was actually in like a really like dark place, and it was because I wasn't like feeling creatively fulfilled, and I
Right.
was like going through the motions at work, and it's just really easy to get caught up in like going on autopilot day to day. And so music just was really organic. Like I never thought I did musical theater, and I've always like sung and loved to sing, but like never thought I'd be like an artist or like do this like at all. And when I started writing music, even then I wasn't like I should like go to open mics. And it wasn't until I started writing that I like wrote like 10 songs. Like, whoa, like this is like pretty natural. Like it
Yeah.
just seems to come to me. And so I started doing open mics, and then like it just right away I was like from an open mic, I would get a show, but I like had no social media, I had no nothing. Like I was literally like just doing shows before even ready to like be a person that's an artist yet.
Totally.
And, like I did not like I still haven't even really like advertised myself as an artist or market it, you know.
That's interesting.
So I'm just really catching up to that, but it's been great because I love the performing part. So it's like I'd much rather just be doing shows live and like just figuring it out.
So when it comes to like musical comedy, do you feel more like a musician who is trying to do comedy? Do you feel like a comedian who is using their voice or speaking their truth through the music?
Good question, Shaun.
Thanks. It's the thing that keeps getting brought up in all the things, and I'm the most fascinated by it.
Yeah, because you know, because I still love. I mean, like but I love comedy, and I want to write so many more comedy songs, and that's really what I'm doing like right now. But I love like that introspective part of music that gets like really, because I just love like analyzing and like self-reflecting, and I'm all about like really like, you know, figuring out why do I think the way I think, why do I make the decisions I make, and a lot of that comes out of my music, and so a lot of that's not that funny, right? Like a lot of that's like super, super serious. So I don't know. I think it's like a balance, and I think like. I guess I see myself more as a musician just because I've never done stand-up myself or whatever. But weirdly enough, though, like I'm also a writer, and like the acting I do, like it's all comedy. Like I'm writing like a comedy pilot, and I want to do sketches that are comedy. So I don't know. And like my favorite shows are comedies. Like I feel like I'm very much like in that realm. So I don't know. I think I'm figuring it out. But I love musical comedy for sure. And like this is like very new. So I'm just gonna
care much for music.
Well, I definitely identify with what you were saying earlier about that idea of if you have a sort of objective goal that you put, unless this happens, I'm not going to be happy, versus like day to day finding that thing that makes you happy and like pursuing that. I absolutely subscribe to that second one as well. Just that because like, for example, if I hadn't just been doing what I've been doing, then I wouldn't have ended up on this podcast, and then whatever happens is this podcast, or moved out to LA.
Oh, we're going to keep doing this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Someday we're going to have pizza.
Oh, don't. Wait.
I didn't want to spring that name, but one of these days I'm gonna start getting us pizza when we come in, and like at the end, like the guest will be like, no matter what happens, we're gonna eat it afterwards.
I'm now like tongue tied because I'm just like, man, pizza sounds so good.
It sounds amazing.
So now we're all like, I don't know that I can be happy until I get pizza.
Right. That's good. That's the thing that I'm. No, I just gotta be happy. I gotta find my joy right now. Pizza is something that could happen later on.
Isn't it weird though when you put the carrot out there? I find that as a in entertainment, if you ever like bite the carrot, like you have to keep moving the carrot, so chasing the carrot has to be the carrot.
Well, that idiom.
Oh, totally.
There was a lot of uses
of the word carrot. You know what else likes carrots? Owls.
I wrote. So even before writing music, I was writing poetry, and I was like doing that for a bit, just because like I didn't even know what I was doing, because I'm a writer. Like that I've been writing forever, but it's been like I was either like newspaper columnist and like an editor sketches. Or like sketch, but I was never writing music until like recently. So I was writing poems. I was just finding a way, and that this became like that perfect medium of like everything. But I wrote a poem about like creativity, and what I touched on was how it's like it's exactly right. Like you will never be satisfied as an artist, because the whole idea is like you have to continue to be relevant, not necessarily in the popular sense, but just to yourself. Like if you're not growing or doing something new or upping yourself, like then you just don't feel good. Like so you can do something great, but if it's like 3 years ago, you're not going to feel like you're not going to be living off of what you did 3 years ago and like feel it like and just as a person you're not going to feel fulfilled.
It's that autopilot.
So you have to constantly up yourself and like be better than yourself. Like and so you are your biggest, you know, critic and challenger, and like the only person you have a competition with is like your past self. And I totally believe like you are just constantly like having to like better yourself as an artist.
Not agree more.
Yeah. So you are just chasing the carrot forever, and that's until you die.
Well, that phrase, right, is like
chasing the carrot.
Yeah, chasing the carrot was when you would have like a mule or something that wasn't wanting to go anywhere, and so you would just be like, ugh. And so the actual phrase itself implies never getting to the thing, and it always being just out of reach, because that is.
And they don't even feed donkeys carrots, do they? They feed them grain.
That's probably what the donkey was like. What the hell?
Why
is
am
this?
Wait.
Is carrot's a treat?
Ooh.
Oh yeah, but chasing grain wouldn't get us there. I'm just chasing grain.
Chasing grain sounds like
funny,
something.
Because as humans we love grain more, right?
Right. Well, LA humans. Well, I'm not on grain right now, but I'm on an all carrot diet.
I'll tell you what. If you put a loaf of French bread in front of me, I'll pull whatever is behind me.
I would chase for cake. So you're a poet. This
not even
leads us to, and if you're just joining
You're a
us,
creative.
welcome back to
Many
Songs in the
outlets.
Key of Funny. I'm Kristin Key. This is Shaun Fisher, co-host with me, and our guest this week is Raquel Woodruff. Each week we've been learning a little bit about beatboxing from Shaun because he teaches comedy hip hop all over town,
All over
in
the
barns
towns.
and garages
Yep.
and outhouses.
Bring me to your outhouse.
But not
I'll boots and cats while I'm there.
boots and cats and boots. Okay, and but anyway, so each guest we've been learning something, and so it's that time in the show.
Sweet.
Learning stuff about hip hop, teach us something, Shaun. Learning stuff about hip hop, teach us something, Shaun.
Wow.
That's the bumper.
Added
for that.
some bee-boo bops. Have you heard?
Usually the guest jumps in the second time through, and then we have to redo the
wow,
bumper.
okay,
So
I-
now that you
yeah.
know it's coming,
Now I know.
we're gonna redo
Awesome.
it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Teach us something about hip hop. Here we go. No, start over again because I messed up. All right.
All right, guys. 3, 2,
am I doing it?
skibidi-bidi-doo.
Can I scat?
Yes,
Kidding,
yes.
I can't scat either.
Learning
Learning
stuff
something
about
about
hip hop. Teach us something, Shaun. Learning stuff about hip hop. Teach us something, Shaun.
Skibidi-dip-skibidi-bidi-bop-ba-dabba-dee-da-doo-ba-dee-da-doo.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots.
Boots. All right, so what I'm going to teach
boots
you
and
today.
cats, by the way. I'm going to regurgitate things I've learned from Shaun. Let me see if I've learned anything.
Oh, please.
Boots and cats.
Are the sounds that he does?
God, yeah,
That's
that's
all they
what
are.
I've learned. Boots, the b, and the tss, and the k.
There you go. That's actually not too bad.
That's all I've got.
And then
Yeah.
last week we went over booms and dooms.
Booms and dooms
Just
I
like-
wasn't as good at.
It's like lip trilled.
We weren't good at that.
That's all.
Wait, Roxy's
Is that what
doing
we're
it
learning?
too.
No, today I'm going to
Oh.
teach you how to sing through your nose.
What?
Yeah. So traditionally, right, we know that this is all connected, right? You can breathe through your nose, you can breathe through your mouth.
You have
so
3
they all
holes
kinda-
downstairs. Got it.
Yep, that's what. Yep, dude, I'm gonna teach you.
3?
Yeah, that's a different beatbox.
I don't think Shaun does, but most women do. It's a
Hey.
clean show.
It's just
We've
an
already
observation.
talked about
Just an
weed.
observation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no. So when you normally sing, you sing through your mouth, right? Ah, and the sound gets out there. And you can tell this because if you pinch your nose and you try to sing through your mouth, the sound isn't affected, right? Ah. But if you cover your mouth and you're singing through your mouth, the sound is affected. Ah, wah, 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 wah. So that's how you know the air and the sound is coming out of here.
So not natural.
The
to
look
me.
of surprise.
Now.
What the hell? Where'd it go? I
Right?
just
So if we're going,
aerialed myself.
I can pinch my nose.
So wait, we're breathing as we hit, or we?
That was just an example of
Oh.
what normally
He's
happens.
showing us where your voice comes from.
From normal.
I'm like, we're gonna do this now.
It's just indie and like wee wee wee. No, but so if you wanted to,
They
sing
prefer to
through
be
your-
called Redskins.
First Nation Redskins. But yeah, so it is the way that you sing through your nose is essentially your hum muscle, right? You're closing your mouth, which means all the sound has to come up through here.
I think we called a girl that in high school.
Hum muscles?
Yes.
Okay. You went to a different high school than me. But yeah, so when you're humming, your mouth is closed and
Yes.
the sound is coming through your nostrils. And the way you can tell that is because if you're going through here, I can cover my mouth and it
Shaun is
doesn't affect the
covering his
sound.
mouth and is still making sounds. Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah, for those of you just listening on the podcast, what's happening right now is Shaun is singing, covering his mouth. The sound is still coming out through his
Right.
nose holes.
so if your mouth
and
is
Raquel
closed,
is mimicking.
so it should feel like it's going like almost like you have something kind of like crappy that you have to say and you're like right, you want to send it up through there. So the fun thing that you can do when you start doing that is you can, if you close your nostrils when you're doing it through there, it will affect the sound the same way as when you did this. So right.
That's really fun.
So then you can take one finger, exactly.
Wait, but you have to do that though. Like you, I've never like ever because I've seen a lot of like you know, what do you call it? Acapella groups in college.
Mhm.
So the rage in college. Acapella. If you were in an acapella, like we didn't have Greek life, we had acapella groups. You know what I mean? Like it's NYU. So
Just as much hazing.
but anyway, like I've never once seen, because I always do look at the beatboxer because it's like exhausting. Like I was always like, how are you doing like every song? Because it's like usually only one.
Well, and that's really like the melody part through here.
She's asking if you play your nose.
But like, do you ever? You're
as
like
a beatboxer.
like,
So it depends on the sound, right? Because if I want to
It's
do,
amazing.
if I want to use the percussion elements of your mouth, there's the
The boots and cats.
the
if you will.
instrument of the beatbox essentially, right? From here forward is all percussion sounds, and from here back is all melody and humming, right? So if I'm going like, I need to be able to have it come out somewhere else because the percussion sound is coming out here.
Oh my God.
So that's why I end up going.
That's crazy that it's both of you. That was coming out of both of him.
That was all coming out of Shaun. That was all coming out of Shaun.
It sounds like two people are
Yes!
singing. That is nuts.
And he's supposed to be teaching us how to do this.
That's not at all. Like
I
I'm not
know,
gonna learn
right?
this.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you can sing, you
I'll
can do
pretend
that
to
hum
learn,
part.
but I'm not gonna learn
Okay.
this.
So if you can just do like a.
Sweet. So like, okay. So you're
So
doing
sing
what?
through your nose, essentially, right?
Okay.
Like almost like pretend you're singing one of your own songs. So then, if you're doing that singing part, essentially the percussive sound happens from your lips, right? So this back here, and they can play together because they're not using the same muscle.
This is booms and dooms again, huh?
So just do. Yeah, really, really
so bad.
pinch down on it. Pinch down on it. There we go, and go. Make like a ooh sound with your mouth. There. Okay, and now go.
If you're just listening, Raquel looks adorable as she's doing this. If you can picture Raquel's picture and then her adorably beatboxing,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
So then, from there it's just. I'm essentially saying the word boom.
She's doing it! By God, she's doing it!
But I can't do that thing that at the same time. And it's like
Because you're sending. Do you feel it going ooh like through here? Ooh.
no.
Start with your nose first. You can hear it when if it sounds like you're saying boo, it means it's coming out of the mouth escape instead of the nose escape.
That's
We'll need
remarkable.
practice on that. Roxy, do we have any suggestions today for our freestyle rap experiment?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just looking it up.
I thought we did too.
Yeah, someone wants. Oh my gosh, no.
Because while we have Shaun's amazing,
For sure.
amazing mouth beats,
Amazing bad Boston.
They want to hear more about tambourines.
they want to hear a
Tambourines.
tambourine freestyle raps.
Yep.
Okay,
If
so
you're gonna freestyle rap, give yourself pauses in between each line. Don't feel pressure to be like, then I'm gonna say something right here, and then another thing has to happen
Can
right
I just
here.
do that whenever I can't think of something? I'll be like, and then I'm gonna say something right.
Yes.
here." Okay, cool.
but then I'll take up all your time from thinking.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not. We'll see how this goes.
This is what every guest says, and then the freestyle rap ends up being phenomenal.
What's it gonna be about though?
She said about
Tambourines.
tambourines, which
Oh, it's about tambourines.
it's about
Yeah.
I thought we
tambourines.
were using well,
We could absolutely do that too. Let's see.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. It's not easy for Army men or even Marines to play a little thing. It's not a xylophone. It's a tambourine. You shake it, and then what? You hit it on your butt. It's a tambourine.
anyone who thinks a tambourine is dumb hasn't ever played one. son of a tambourine, you're a dick. Have you seen
Stevie Nicks?
Biggity, 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 biggity. Wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot you have to do percussion. Okay. Ricka ricka shake, ricka ricka shake.
Ricka, ricka,
That's all
ricka,
it
ricka,
takes
shake.
to play the tambourine. I can't believe how fast time went by.
Wow.
Oh,
Because
you
we're having
We killed
fun.
it.
Killed it.
And you have. I wanna. We
That Stevie
can't-
Nicks bar.
Ah, thank you,
Solid.
audience.
So
we
good.
can't let the show. We can't. We still have enough time. I have to hear your other original. Not that one, the other one. I'm just reading into your brain.
What?
I want to hear the one because of all that's happening in
the one
the
we were
news
doing
this
earlier.
week with sexual harassment or harassment, however you pronounce it. But every single friend of mine that I've talked to, we've put Me Too on our Facebook pages. We were talking about it before the show started. Roxy the Fox
Yeah.
was talking about it. Every single one of us had a story that literally made me leave the room for a little bit, and like it's just it's a lot.
Yeah.
But this is why humor is so important, and this is why you said you brought this song back from obscurity, and I love that you have it. So tell us about it, and I'd love it if you play it. Today.
It's like the second song I wrote, so it's about a year old, and I wrote it because it was like I came out here to act and stuff, and so I was doing a bunch of that like before I got my job at E, and so. And it's just doing like background work or like other stuff. But yeah, and then I was writing music and I started posting stuff on social media and basically just like every guy essentially like almost. And I'm not. There was some like I'm not. There are
It's okay.
exceptions.
I'm not representative.
I'm definitely. And
I know.
I'm super not like.
It's
and I
totally
also
okay.
Yeah. And honestly,
Straight
I have
white
friends,
male. I got you. It's
no,
all
but
good.
I have friends who are like all men are bad, and I'm not.
Right.
I'm not into that either.
Not
It's like
coming
I'm
off
not
that
going
way,
to
don't worry
generalize,
about
but no, just a large swath of men like that would reach out to me. Were like. Hey, like want to collaborate or like, hey, do this. And I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, hey, sure. And then it's always like, all right, cool. Meet me for dinner like this. I'm like, that's not what you're doing. And then like other times where I met people in person, like it was like made like some sort of sexual move on me or something. And it's in like under the pretense that we're like professionally going to like work together or something like that.
Right.
Or offering me roles based on having sex with them.
Yeah.
And I just have like zero like I just would walk away immediately. Right. So I never even like entertain it, but obviously like I can't. And then when this Harvey thing came out, I mean, I'm glad that it's like coming to light and like that's super like, higher stakes than I've ever had to deal with. Right. But it's especially I think the best time as it is ever to enter this industry now that these people are at least being held accountable. Like I can't like the fact that this was such an open secret for so long is crazy. And but this song basically is about how is that culture just like you as a woman, especially in entertainment. It's like because I'm also like a writer, and I'm also and I do other things and I'm a producer and so people see you and they just think that all you're good for, all your value is in the physical and is like and they don't care about your brain at all. And so it's just this culture that perpetuates women as just like kind of their value is so superficial and you really have to like earn the respect and it's interesting to have to deal with. And so this song is basically about that. And it's called La La Land. And it just so happened that movie came out at the same time. So it was like so annoying. So we're like, oh, it's like about how you love jazz. And I was like, no,
oh, the Ryan Gosling ditty.
Okay. Yeah, it's not about my love for LA, right?
This goes out specifically to Ryan Gosling.
Okay, so La La Land. Yeah.
Something everybody wants here is everything, and everything they won't stop at nothing. Everybody's got something to say, and it's usually they know a friend. They'll tell you that the friends you want here are currency, and currently your pockets are empty. Not everybody's an actor, but factor in the pros that play pretend. What you doing out here for? Show up with some girls, wait at the door. So you wanna be a star? 3 rounds and you got a friend at the bar. No rep, no reel, no record deal. You're to New York. Well, tell your friends in the Benz I don't tend to breathe in no more. La 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 land. Give me your ass, I'll give you a hand. La la land, la 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 land. Give me your ass, I'll give you a hand. La la la. Everybody's biggest fear is a nobody, but nobody cares about your pilot. Everyone's just looking for the next best thing next door. They tell you when you start never to know anything. Apparently they meant them. It's so easy to remember what you're here for. Let me introduce you, hun. Bring a couple girls and we'll have some fun. So you wanna get ahead one night? You could be my special friend. No rep, no reel, no record deal. You're nobody. We'll tell your who's in night places. I don't give us something. Give me your ass, I'll give you a hand. Give me your ass, I'll give you a hand. Just curious, but can I offer you something other than my naked body? My naked body. Just curious, but can I offer you something other than my naked body? My naked body. La, 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 la. Give me your ass, I'll give you a hand. La, 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 blah, 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 blah. Give me your ass, I'll give you a hand.
Oh my God, I'm so glad we had you on this week. It's such a great
Thanks.
song for this week, and what a great message. Where can we find you online?
Thank you. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Raquel Woodruff, at RAQUELWOODRU.
It's important.
Just, yeah, that's how I spell it. And so I have a Facebook page for my music, and my Instagram is my music. I'm starting a SoundCloud, so it's not up yet, but I'm gonna post that. Just follow me on social media. You can do all that. What else do I have? A Twitter, and I have a Twitter. Raquel Woodruff, same
Guys,
name. You can
find
just
her online.
Google me. Oh, and YouTube, Raquel Woodruff.
Find her online.
Solid.
Go check out her videos. Check out her music. She
Thank
is
you.
fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show.
you so much.
Quite a pleasure. This
And
is
guys,
awesome.
keep
Yeah.
listening to Songs in the Key of Funny. Subscribe to us on iTunes,
Oh my God.
please.
Wait, Kristin.
We need.
Wait, no way.
We have pizza.
I thought they were kidding.
Oh my God.
You don't do this every podcast.
This is the
Dreams
first time.
come true.
I've got the best one.
Guys, you can find us at Songs in the Key of Funny on Facebook, Songs in the Key of Funny on YouTube, www.songsinthekeyoffunny. Thank you so much. I'm Kristin Key. This is Shaun Fisher,
Hello.
and you've been listening to
Songs in the key of funny. Funny songs and the stories behind them.
the best day ever.
Yo, thank you so much.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So delicious.